This is a tip for all the graduates and school leavers to say that when you're interviewing for jobs, be mindful of how you project yourself and where you want to be in the future to the person interviewing you, especially if they're your manager. When you're young, when you've just left school or you've just left uni, you want to win the world, you want to do big things, which is a perfect attitude, and that's how it should be. But don't forget that the people who are interviewing you are now grown-ups. Perhaps once upon a time they also had ambitions and they wanted to get to certain places, wanted to have certain amount of wealth, a position in society. Not all of them have achieved that. So when they see somebody like you coming in and you want to win the world over, you want to become a millionaire, a billionaire, or you want to become a manager really quick, or you want to climb the corporate ladder really quick. Notice the word I'm saying really quick, because they do want you to be ambitious. They do want to see that you have goals, that you want to progress in life, but they don't want you to be too ambitious. Because if you say you want to become a manager within 6 months, within a year, within 2 years, then they would see that as being immature, childish. And in your mind, that it's not immature or childish, because you were a child a few years ago, and to be quite frank, you don't know how the real world works. Sometimes people do make it rich, people do progress really quick, but most of the time people don't. And these grown-ups who are interviewing you will then see you as childish, as if you still haven't grown up, which is true to an extent. Let's be honest. If somebody is 40 years old, 50 years old interviewing you, then they've seen a lot of life. And if you are 20 years old, you haven't even been in the world long enough that they've been working. So, those people interviewing you have gone through tough times in life. They've seen highs and lows. And, to an extent, they have quietened their inner voice or their inner ambitions. And they've settled for what the life has offered them. But you should be mindful of when you say, you want to achieve big things, or you want to progress in the company really quick. Just be modest and say, yes, you want to progress and you become to, stay in the organization and climb up the ladder when you're ready, when you've learned, when you've had enough experience, when other people have coached you. Don't make them feel as if you would take the position, even though, to be quite frank, everybody should be climbing up the corporate ladder. So should that person interviewing you also be progressing in the organization. But when they see somebody who's overambitious, they often feel threatened that you take the position and they'd have no job. So just be mindful of that. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to underdo it either. If you show no ambition, that you are quite laissez-faire, quite chilled out, then they don't like that either. So there's a right balance to be achieved. So yeah, just wanted to say, be careful when you're interviewing. Just the right amount of balance, and don't be too happy or over jolly, because they don't understand all the time. Some people do. Some people are quite mature interviewing you. These are grown-up adults. So they will actually appreciate that you bring fresh life, fresh energy into the organization. Others would see it as, oh, look at these, graduates or school leavers. They're still young, and they don't understand the real world, the practical life, which is true. And then they look at you and think, oh, look how happy they are. And it can be perceived negatively. That's all I'm trying to say. It's not always perceived negatively, but it can be perceived negatively depending on who the other person is. So don't over smile, but do not smile either. So keep it just amount of right balance. Show that you're sincere, mature. Listen to what they're saying attentively, and just make eye contact in the interviews. But don't be. Keep your energy in control, because some people have a lot of energy. In fact, most young people have a lot of energy. You're young, that's why you have energy, right? When you age, you lose energy. That's the reality of life. So during interviews and even phone interviews, just keep that energy a little under control, especially if you're an extrovert. If you're an introvert, then try to come out of the shell a little bit, because they also don't want to see people who are reserved, who are shy, because then they're worried that you may not fit into the team, you won't communicate, you won't open up, and that would cause problems. So just keep, I say a balance, but hey, define balance, right? Balance for me is one thing, and balance for the person interviewing you may be something else. Balance for the people listening to this right now may be something else. So there's no right or wrong answer, but try not to overdo something, try not to underdo something. And that's pretty much it.